Good afternoon. It is Friday, July 30th. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm over in Cape May, and I'm starting this ride in front of 207 Congress Place. A viewer asked to see this, so here I am. I don't know if it's a private residence or a B&B. It's a magnificent home right across the street from Congress Hall, as you can see. I'm not going to spend a lot of time riding around in Cape May. I'm just going to go around the block to show this residence exactly, to show viewers exactly where it is. And I want to expand a little bit on the topic of Simone Biles, which is a topic that the viewer talked about. It's 81 degrees right now in Cape May. It's a beautiful day, beautiful beach day. And as you can see, Congress Place is where Congress Hall is, and it comes right down and to the end of the Washington Street Mall. And as you can also see, it is one block off the beach. So that home that I started the ride at, it would be hard to envision a more prime location unless you were literally on the beach. So, as I said, I'm going to just go around the block in an effort to show this residence, and then talk a little bit about my thoughts a little more fully on the whole Simone Biles situation. I'm not sure that I clarified enough or expanded enough on my take on what transpired in Tokyo for Simone. But let me begin by just saying that I have nothing but respect for Simone Biles, and I respect entirely her decision to withdraw. I don't know that it's gotten the kind of coverage in the media that it should have, and I should also state the obvious. I'm not a sports psychologist, I'm not even a gymnast, but I have a granddaughter, my first granddaughter, who is obsessed with gymnastics. So over the years, I've sort of made it my mission to educate myself on gymnastics and various aspects of that sport. And my comments will be from that perspective. I think a lot of people understand that gymnasts perform skills that, if not executed properly, can be life-altering. It's not uncommon for gymnasts to fracture their back. Many young girls that I've seen in the gym have had fractured vertebrae, and you can die or you can become paralyzed if you're trying to do certain skills and you don't execute them properly. So it's a high risk thing. But I think what a lot of people are missing in the whole Simone Biles situation is that this was a much more serious issue than her just getting a mental block. She had what is referred to as the twisties. And in gymnastics, gymnasts spend thousands of hours in the gym practicing routines and building their strength and flexibility. And when they're practicing this, they are basically developing a muscle memory. I think it's called, there's a term for it, I think it's called proprioception. I think if you look that up, it's proprioception is the name of the term. And basically what it is building muscle memory so that your brain is trained to know exactly what your body needs to be doing at any given point in time. And when gymnasts develop the twisties, basically there is a breakdown at a moment in time where your brain loses that connectivity and it doesn't remember where you are in the air, where you are in your skill, how far it is to land, what additional twists or turns you need to do. It's almost like the light switch has been turned off. And that happens in the middle of a routine. So if you're doing a vault like Simone was, and you're supposed to be doing 2.5 turns following a Yurchenko vault, when she's up in the air, something happens and the message from her brain shuts down, and she doesn't know where she is, how high she is off the ground, how far she is from the vault table, what she has to do to get herself to land safely again. It's a very, very serious thing when a gymnast gets the twisties, and it can really lead to an extremely serious injury. So a lot of people sort of equate what happened to Simone with people just being nervous. And my granddaughter has had, I think I mentioned on the previous video, my granddaughter, who at the time was only 9 years old, had a full-on panic attack or anxiety attack at the start of a beam routine in a meet last year. And I was in the stands watching her, and you could see it coming on her, and her breathing started getting heavier and heavier. Her chest started heaving, and you could see her face turning red, and it was building, and you know, she just at one point could not go on, and just ran over to her coach with a total breakdown in tears. Now that is not the same thing that happened to Simone. I mean, that kind of fear and nervousness, I think gymnasts are just trained to fight through. But when a gymnast has happened to them what happened to Simone, getting the twisties, you've got to take that extremely serious. You know, you're really risking extremely serious injury to continue to perform, and to perform the kind of skills with the difficulty level that she is, you know, when you've just had an episode. So, you know, I don't know that a lot of people are really aware of that. It's almost, and again, I'm not trained in medicine either, but it's, as I understand it, it's really almost, if not actually, a physiological thing that happens. And there's a word for it, but I just use the term that is commonplace in the field of gymnastics, and it's called when gymnasts get the twisties. And it's, like I said, it's this physiological break between your brain and the rest of your body, and your brain doesn't know, or your brain's not communicating to the rest of your body what it needs to do to execute this routine, and the implications on your health are obvious. So, given that is what happened to Simone, I think she would have been absolutely foolish to continue, and it's unfortunate that it happened when it did. And as I understand it, these things can come on and do come on without notice. One moment you're fine, the next moment, snap, it happens, and you don't know where you are or what you need to do to get yourself grounded back on the floor safely. So it's unfortunate that it happened when it did. I know a gymnast like Simone Biles has trained. As I understand it, she takes 1 week off a year. So she trained more than 40 hours a week, 51 weeks a year for the last 5 years leading up to this moment in Tokyo. And, it's really a tragedy what happened to her after all that work. I mean, I'd like to think that she has already solidified her legacy, and she has a lot of gold medals already. But people that just say she should have just pushed through it, I don't think they really understand fully exactly what she was dealing with. And in terms of what can cause this, my understanding is a leading cause is stress. And when you're the world's best gymnast and you're on the stage with the eyes of the entire world on you, and the expectations so high, it's hard to imagine more stress being put on the mind than what she was facing, and this thing happened. So I don't think it's fair to her for anybody to suggest that she should have just fought through it and continued. And it's unlike anything that a mental block that other athletes may face. I think the other thing that is unique about gymnastics that I don't know that a lot of people appreciate, and this is true even for young kids, my granddaughter practices, she just turned 10. She spends 18 hours a week in the gym at a minimum, and most weeks she will go into the gym on Saturday for some extra practice. But at a minimum, she is spending 18 hours a week in the gym, and that's on top of the time that she spends in school, and really is busting her ass to try to learn these very difficult skills and condition her body to have the strength and flexibility to do these things. And they are scary. And I asked her one time, when she was not the time that she had the episode that I talked about, but another time when she was sort of standing on the beam and for a few seconds before she tried to do her backflip, and I said to her, "Why were you pausing? What's going through your mind? Why didn't you just do it?" And I said, "Tell me what you're thinking about at the time." And she said to me, and she was 9 years old at the time, and she said, "I'm thinking, I hope I don't break my neck." And that's what's going through the mind of a 9-year-old. But anyway, and this is not in any way to equate, the seriousness of what happened to Simone to, the pressures on little girls that are into gymnastics. But unlike other team sports like my grandson plays Little League baseball, he plays football, he plays basketball, he plays ice hockey. He doesn't play golf or tennis, but he's too young for that. But if you think about those sports, in football you have 4 quarters. In basketball you have 4 quarters. In baseball you have 9 innings. In ice hockey you have 3 periods. In golf you have 18 holes. In tennis you have 3 or 5 sets. In gymnastics you have one and only one chance to get it right. And you're not out among other gymnasts. When you're ready to perform, you're out on the gym completely alone. And the judges are sitting there watching you, taking note of every little imperfection that you show. The stands are full of parents, so all eyes are watching you, and there's no room for error. And while the skills that someone like my granddaughter, who is only now a level 7 gymnast, the skills that she's doing are nowhere near in the same universe as what an Olympic athlete would do, and she's not even doing what a collegiate athlete would do. But for her, they are just as challenging. And, I have the utmost respect for these gymnasts that, show that kind of courage to get out there and be completely out on their own in front of the crowd, all eyes on them, trying to execute these very challenging and very difficult skills, and being judged on every little imperfection. Like if your hand is not turned up and instead it's turned straight out, that's a deduction. If your toes are not in a releve, that's a deduction. I mean, it's much more than just being able to do the what appears to most people to be the skill. But in any event, I think Simone Biles' legacy is intact and will remain intact. And at the end of the day, medals don't change the world. People change the world. And I think what has happened to Simone Biles has given rise to a discussion on mental health that I think is a healthy discussion to have. But I think people need to really keep clear what happened to Simone in, as I say, in getting these what's called the twisties, where proprioception breaks down, and what was committed to muscle memory 5 seconds ago is gone, and you're in a complete void in space. So I am not in the least bit critical of Simone Biles. I'm gonna turn around here and just end this video. I'm back obviously in North Cape May. I'm gonna let this car pass me, only because I want to take my time riding along here. So, I think an awful lot of people, in fact, most people appreciate the physical demands on a gymnast, the strength that's required. My granddaughter, at the age of 8, was in the gym doing rope climbs 25 feet with her legs parallel to the floor. Not using her legs at all, just her arm muscle pulling her up. She has incredible strength. She does press handstands on the beam and off the floor. And she's not unique. I think these gymnasts have incredible strength and incredible physical dexterity. But I think what is not as commonly understood is the mental toughness that gymnasts have. And for somebody like Simone that had the eyes of the entire world on her, it can't possibly get any more pressure-filled than that. And she had one of these episodes, and she was very wise to not try to fight through that and go on. There's a couple of parasailers out in the bay. You probably can't see that on the video, but I can see it. So anyway, that's those are my thoughts on Simone Biles. And John, I hope this met your expectations for showing 207 Congress Place. And I think I will just pull up a little bit and end this video here along the bay. I don't know how visible it is on this video, but there are lots of umbrellas, beach umbrellas, down on the bay. And I'm looking out, and I don't know if you can see it, they're yellow, two parasailers out there right now. And there's another guy in, guess, one of those jet skis. No sign of a ferry coming or going, so I will end this video. And thank you for watching. Again, it is Friday, July 30th. And I'm now in North Cape May. Started this ride over in Cape May. So thanks for watching, and have a good weekend.